the question we have asked ourselves really all offseason. We're running out of time to answer this one. I think it's up to us most of the time to try our best to accurately depict expectations.
Okay. Yep.
How do you fairly present expectations for someone who, talent-wise, we're talking talent, upside, ability, potential, just those things, talent-wise, probably possesses more of those things than, let's say, just about anybody that's suited up at Carolina. Let's not go extreme and say, oh, he's more talented than any. We'll all see. He's definitely, potential-wise, up there, right? But has never had the SEC spotlight on him. Has not been the starting quarterback. Is a redshirt freshman. Threw 4 passes last season. Now, did he check some boxes in that little bit of time? Absolutely he did. Were we all sitting there looking around like, what the? Like that throw against Furman. Talk about a flash play. Like you hear people talk about, oh, he flashed. That one, you're like, this guy just walked off the sideline and did that in his like first real action. What did I just see? But again, redshirt freshman. Lots of questions around him too. An inexperienced offense around him at some places, or at the very least, experienced wide receivers, but that are new at your place, right? How do you fairly frame that up? If he goes out there against Old Dominion and looks like a freshman, people are going to say, oh, you overhyped this guy. If he goes out there against ODU and looks like Cam Newton, people are going to say you undersold him.
Or that's what he's going to be against Kentucky the next week.
Well, and
the rest of the season.
For his sake, I almost hope he just has a solid day against ODU.
That's right.
Because I know how it works around here. If he goes for 5 touchdowns against ODU, it is going to go into whatever is above hyperdrive for the hype machine. So I ask you, how do you frame that up?
Well, it is hard to have perspective on these things, but if you think about it, so one of the guys that people are comparing LaNorris to, and not that they're that similar in play style, they're both dual threat, but Connor Shaw, right? Like he's best quarterback in school history. That's what most people agree with that, certainly in the modern era. And you think about it, Connor Shaw's trajectory is a little bit different. He walked into a situation where South Carolina had a guy who had started a bunch of games. South Carolina doesn't have that this year. But just for perspective, I mean, Connor Shaw got some playing time as a freshman. He won the job in 2011 against East Carolina over Stephen Garcia, got benched in that game. Came back a few weeks later, 2 weeks later, played against Kentucky, threw for 300 yards, 67% completions, 4 touchdowns. And then the rest is history. We know what happened with Connor Shaw, right? You think about other guys across college football. Johnny Manziel redshirted. He won the Heisman. He's one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in college football. Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. Sorry to bring him up, but he was really good. Former 5-star, number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Did not win the starting job. Didn't start game 1. Played in game 1. Ended up being the guy. So the point is, early in careers, guys have to take steps. And so there will be probably, I don't know for sure, I think there will be some moments where LaNorris Sellers does look human and make some mistakes. And that can be this year as a redshirt freshman. It can be when he's a junior. His talent level makes it to where it is very hard not to get excited about him right now and looking into the future, because Wes, there's a lot of guys that have been around ball a long time. They know ball. And they have seen some of the best players up close and personal, played against them, coached them, played with them. These same people have seen Sellers, and they put his talent level in the company of some of those guys. So when you hear that, you go, ooh. And then you kind of see some of the glimpses we've seen and look back at high school. All that's a very long-winded way and a filibustery way of saying, like, you can have, I think it's fine to have expectations for him because of his talent level. It's different than if we were walking into this thing going, well, I mean, I don't know, somebody's going to win the job, and somebody will be out there and we'll see how it goes. We've seen that situation here, right, at South Carolina. This isn't one of those, but you do have to keep the proper perspective that no matter what happens in game one, there's going to be some growth for a guy like Sellers, even as talented as he is.